I predict Joel is going to be the center of so many Helldivers 2 memes, if he isn't already. Now that that's out, dude, I mean, I can already see myself here in about an hour or two when we start gaming. You know, if shit hits the fan, damn you, Joel!
Yeah.
Wherever you are up there in the stars, damn you.
Well, the way I see it, he owes me 45 war bonds, man. It said if we liberated Veld or whatever that place was, that we got 45 war bonds. It's been liberated for like 16 hours at this point. Like, you know, pay up, dude.
And I haven't seen a penny of that money.
Yeah.
That's what they say, right?
Exactly.
Pay the man, Joel.
Yeah, I need that money. As a Helldiver, I need that now because I'll probably be dead today.
Buenos días, señor Chuck. ¿Cómo está?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Muy bien, gracias. Oh, dang. I hope that didn't come through the mic. My belly just like said, feed me.
Oh, man, yeah.
I got the rumbles here. Did you hear
no
that?
Breakfast yet? No.
No, but I am a couple of cups of coffee in deep. You know.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, dude.
Mm-hmm. And my chair is still squeaky as ever. Sorry about that, everyone.
You're just down the road from the best huevos rancheros in the world, too, man.
They're so good.
Can't
but, I'm
that
more of
here.
a beefsteak ranchero kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like huevos rancheros, too, though. Well, shoot, man. I know you probably want to play Helldivers 2 as much as I do, so let's jump into this bad boy. What episode number is this? 44?
44. Kick
Is
in
this
the
44?
door. Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
I feel it, yeah.
Man, I keep spacing out on where we're at, dude. We're climbing up the episode ladder here. Yeah, man, episode 44. Welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast, and we don't discriminate. Matter of fact, welcome Helldivers, Terminids, and Automatons. Obviously, I think we're going to talk about Helldivers 2 again, because it's deserving of it, man. I have a question to pose to you, Chuck, to you listeners. Is Helldivers 2 possibly the funnest game ever?
Ooh.
Is that too bold of a question?
No, I'll still say Ark.
It is a bold question.
As much fun as we've been having, I will have you know, I have still been playing Ark. Like, everything's good over there. So, I don't think it'll last like Ark. I hope it does. I do, I think I've started to see just a little bit of, like, commentary on it being repetitive. I think, and I think what folks are getting at, maybe those missions. So to quickly answer your question without, it's easy for me to go on a tangent or whatever, is that to be determined. The jury's still out. I think time will tell. Like, if I had to base it on, versus my first like 20 hours of ever playing a video game, like it is, because Ark, the first 20 hours of Ark were kind of ass, like because that was horrible, and I just couldn't really see.
Dude, the first 20 hours of Ark can suck really bad.
Yeah. I mean, I really did it to hang out with y'all. I think, like, and just accepted like
it was only because of our friendship.
They like,
let's be honest.
I'll give it a try, but yeah, I would, I was getting killed by little bitty things and falling off, just stupid.
Yeah.
Like
you mentioned the 20 hours thing, like the first 20 hours of gameplay. Maybe that's a key factor there, because it's only been out for so long, but everyone's initial experiences of it have been just, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Or as it say on Steam, what is it? Mostly positive, or like very positive. Right now,
yeah.
I'll show you, Chuck, here on the screen here. We're at Helldivers is at number 5 right now. Number 1 is at Counter-Strike 2. Dota 2, PUBG, Battlegrounds, Apex Legends, and then Helldivers 2, and then Pal World after that. And you know what's funny is we did that Pal World episode, kind of just like, oh man, there's this new game, and it's like, you know, it's extremely popular and it's busting the charts, and you know, and then all of a sudden Helldivers 2 comes out of like, you know, left field.
True.
And is still holding its ground, man. It's, you know, and so is Pal World, top 10. But yeah, I mean, right now it says that there's 285,000, you know, right above that. That's a lot of concurrent players. So yeah, that is a bold question. I've also seen I've seen that question out there. That's why I've posed it. And I've also seen the question like, is Helldivers 2 changing the gaming industry?
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Is it changing gaming? And you know, there's a lot of updates coming out, man. There's something here. Is it fair to say that? There's something here. And I would like, because you brought, sorry for interrupting, but Pepe Tortilla and yourself brought this up yesterday when I as well mentioned, maybe too prematurely, I said, guys, I think I'm starting to get a little bored of this game, or something to that effect. I said that last night. It's getting a little repetitive. I think I literally said it's getting kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
Those were like my words. I gotta admit, perfect transparency with my, you know, with the podcast listeners out there and with my dear co-host Chuck, I was a little tired last night. I wasn't in a bad mood, but I was definitely exhausted, and you know, so maybe I was just being harsh on myself or in the game. But can we admit that like there are some repetitive elements to it? Just to be, so. You know, to be completely
when
like,
you
on
said
both
that
sides
last
here.
night, like I brought up your name and it said hold to kick, and I was like, maybe he's just in a bad mood.
Holy, I almost just blasted coffee all over my laptop, dude.
Where's that coming from?
Just don't tell the SCAF of my treason.
Here's this level 28 over here crying about. Like, watching you pick your stratagems, I'm like, oh my god. Like,
what? There's nothing wrong with my stratagems, dude. I've heard of a community out there of toxic players that are saying like, if they don't have this, kick them. If they don't have kick them. If they're a level whatever and below, are you in that Reddit?
I'm not going to do it to you, but I'm going to thank it because it's like it's just going to make things harder. Like you know,
dude, you were the one that was hesitant to even get involved in this game.
Yeah.
Look at how tables turn.
Yeah. I want to say.
Why are you itching your eye with your middle finger? I'm just kidding.
I had a friend that had been over to visit, and when y'all were like aggressively trying to get me to play, and then I hadn't seen that friend since then, and they were like, "What are you doing this season?" And I was like, "Man, I'm going to play this game, Helldivers 2. Have you heard of it or whatever?" And they're like, "Wasn't that game you were like saying you didn't want to play? Like you just didn't want to learn a new game?" Or what? I was like, couldn't have been more wrong. Like I'm perfectly.
like I literally only want to play this game now.
I have. Yeah, I've regretted I
you
wasted
can see yourself to the door.
Those 3 days of progress, like I could have behind you know under me right now. But I haven't felt that yet. I feel like, and the reason I haven't felt it is that larger community, that you know, the bigger picture that we're all looking at in the Galactic War, and how there's a sort of this guy named, you know, supposedly this guy named Joel is the dungeon master that's kind of keeping this game interesting for us, and there's going to be new things. But it's a valid point that I've launched a few ICBMs at this point. I've done those things, but it is a little different every time. And you can change those stratagems, like you said, to keep it fresh. But there is, and one of the things I think they're going to try to fix is there kind of is a meta right now. And I think what you were getting at is some people are saying if you're not running the shield backpack, the rail gun, or the grenade launcher, and they'll pretty much let you pick what you want from there. Like you're just dead weight. I mean,
see, maybe that should be maybe that's what this whole episode's about, or like deep takes. You know, we're doing the deep cuts here of like, you know, the getting into the Helldivers 2, like what's, because we have a new game here, and we're gonna see patterns and in-game culture and alliances, even though they're unwritten. You know, like we're gonna see a whole culture of thrive and begin and grow with this game, and it's going to be real. It's happening now, and I mean this.
Yeah.
I think this podcast itself constitutes part of that like evolution that's happening. But those are deep cuts. They're deep takes because you mentioned Joel. Like there's a game. What did they call it? What was he? I think PC Magazine. I think it was, or something. There's some reliable source like had interviews with the CEO of Arrowhead, like the main developer. I think his name's Johan. I might be wrong there, you know. And I don't want to open up any websites right now. We're just having fun. It's Saturday, for Pete's sake. But yeah, like he mentioned a game overseer or like gamekeeper or dungeon keeper, and apparently this guy's name is Joel. So let me just. Quick little entry. Does Joel have the best job on the planet? Like, besides being a F-18 pilot or a Navy SEAL?
It's up there. I feel like it could be stressful, and it's kind of one of those catch-22 jobs, I bet. Like, no matter what he does, there's going to be, you know, a certain amount of people he makes happy and a certain amount of people that wish it went, you know, some other way.
I predict Joel is going to be the center of so many Helldivers 2 memes. If he isn't already. Now that that's out, dude. I mean, I can already see myself here in about an hour or two when we start gaming. You know, if shit hits the fan, damn you, Joel.
Yeah.
Wherever you are up there in the stars, damn you.
Well, the way I see it, he owes me 45 war bonds, man. It said if we liberated Veld or whatever that place was, that we got 45 war bonds. It's been liberated for like 16 hours at this point. Like, you know, pay up, dude.
And I haven't seen a penny of that money.
Yeah.
That's what they say, right?
Exactly.
Pay the man, Joel.
Yeah, I need that money. As a Helldiver, I need that now because I'll probably be dead today. Like
yeah, today. There are no reinforcements allotted at this time.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Before we go any further, I want to go back to that question. So yeah, we all agree there's moments, but it's a fresh game in itself. And we mentioned Joel, but what I mentioned to was like, what I allured to was like, is this game changing the gaming industry? Is it doing something special here? And we kind of touched on that a little bit in that last episode, but I heard this in another spot, and it was articulated very well, and it was like exactly what I was like feeling and getting at and like noticing that I just hadn't put into words myself. I don't remember where I saw it, but basically it was like, this game is maybe part of its success has to do with how it makes you feel like when you're playing it, it brings you back to those nights where you were gaming with your friends, gaming to have fun.
Yeah.
It's a game that like you look forward to playing because you know you're going to have fun and you're not concerned necessarily about meeting the meta, keeping up with the Bradys or whatever. What's the phrase, man? Keeping
Joneses.
up with the Bradys, the Joneses. Like, you know, like, because so many of these other shooter games that we play, it's like we play them out of we got to just to keep up, just to keep up with the meta, to keep up with the KD or whatever. Like with Helldivers 2, man, after you're done playing it, it's like you don't feel bad that you were playing it. Does that make sense? Like, because it was a fun time. Like, it wasn't gaming for gaming's sake. Like lost, like that feeling you get. Like, oh man, I just spent like, you know, we've talked about this before. Like, where you're gaming is like, I just spent a whole bunch of time gaming and like it wasn't that satisfying. It was just a couple more hours of the same. You know, this is this thing I do, and like the Helldivers 2 is such a breath of fresh air that it feels like time well spent when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and they're not trying to sell you shit. Like, in my initial thoughts, when this game just came out was that it was going to be filled with microtransactions and stuff like that, is what I'd heard. And it's not, you know, it's not pushing any of that on you. Like, it's all there and available. You can get it just by playing the game and stuff. It's not pushed on you because it doesn't need to, because the game is fun. You know?
Yeah. I can't help but wonder, like, if do you feel like that the lack of PvP has something to do with that? Like, I do feel like sometimes I walk away from Call of Duty almost like as if I've been in like a debate online or something with someone, like you know, that little negative feeling you can get from social media when you just sort of don't feel heard, and you know, somehow like it just seems like there's no way to win, even in the face of evidence. People mind, they typically don't change, and like because that PvP element, man, you have to deal with some toxic people in those environments, and it really hasn't been that way. Like, it's like we're on the same team, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. And everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same boat defending Super Earth as a team. And it's like, yeah, like what a game where you're shooting and blowing up, doing you know, action movie type gameplay. It's defending the Earth or the galaxy from alien creatures. Would that be a fun video game? Yes. Would it be fun if you could have a buddy next to you defending Super Earth with you, blowing shit up and having a fun, cool time? Would that be a fun game? Yes. What if you could do it with 3 or 4 of your friends on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night? Would that be a fun game? Yeah. Fuck yeah. And like they did something, they copied something. I don't, you know, all of the action movies out there, all of the, you know, popular action movie directors out there know this. Like, what makes a great action movie is like cool shit, explosions. You know, what anything that's cool, like, that makes like people go, that's cool. Like, even if it's ridiculous, you know.
Save like one key difference though is that you're really not the main character in the story though. Like it's not like, you know, a lot of action adventure films, you know, it's like the Incredible Hulk movie, and the Incredible Hulk is like this, you know, main character that has all these superpowers and stuff, but you're just a soldier in a large war, and it's kind of like your ship is a bit of a character, but as far as like you having this long lasting identity of creating this character, like your character in Ark that levels up, you know, it's not exactly like that.
I meant in the cinematic, you know, what makes it addictively fun? The cool shit, blowing shit up.
Well, in that Extraction,
aliens,
dude, there could be a game that was
Terminator
just called Extraction, you know? and if you had that moment at the end, like you have at every end of every mission, where, you know, you've got these valuable things you need to get on board with, and like they kind of release the enemies in a way that there's guaranteed that you're going to have to run for it there at the end, like almost, and it is very cinematic, like an action movie, like last, you know, ship out of Saigon every game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it hits that there's like a, you know, and you mentioned there's a psychological aspect to that, you know, that pulls us in, dude. We love cool shit. You know, and when you can just do that with your buddies, you know, on repeat, fighting against giant bugs or Terminator-like creatures, that's just so awesome. And the sound cues, the explosive, you know, the way, like, especially with a good set of headphones, the music, the gunfire, the lasers, you know, just all of the bug sounds, the automaton sounds. It's just so well done. You mentioned something that was a deep take, man. I was like, whoa, like I'd never even considered this, man. Freaking ChukTomahawk getting deep on the, you know, on the. No, dude, this was like what you said was like, what? I never even. Is the ship your character?
Yeah.
Is this whole thing like you're actually the ship? And these little like these missions we're playing is kind of just like a side thing, when really, like, you know, in the spirit of the game, you're actually the ship, or in my case, the SES fist of selfless service, servicing you and the entire galaxy 24/7.
I believe so, and I've been thinking too, like you know, for every one of those, mostly like I feel like mine's called the Hammer of Dawn, and I feel like there's a bunch of Hammer of Dawns out there, and I thought about like starting a Facebook group or something for us. But I think so. I mean, that's one of the things that's driving me right now is getting those samples to upgrade my ship, and I love how when like you can see my ship from afar, it looks more gnarly now. Like it's got bigger guns and stuff, and it's like you see that thing pull up at a battle, like you're like, oh shit, there's the Hammer at Dawn. Like, you know, way more. Yeah, it's like that dude's got like 30 super samples on there, super rare samples.
He's sampled out. Samples are falling out of his pockets. Watch out for that one.
Golly,
Don't let him get on the ship. No. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I like that part of the progression, and I hope they add stuff to the end of it, because I do feel like the end is coming. Like I'm going to have everything that you can get pretty soon. You know, I would say in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, there's a lot more coming out, and we can jump into that here in a second. But yeah, man, I think this game is I've really ran out of words, and I don't know how to describe it. It's all in my mind, but I'm getting better at doing that. But like, it just really does make you feel like there's nothing else there except just pure fun. You know, when you're in the mission, like it just because so much shit happens. You know, you blow up your partners on accident, you get killed so much, like. And when you just kind of let go, like especially if you're familiar with playing like Warzone or any of these other like super competitive like shooters. And then you come into Helldivers 2, and if you can let that go and just have fun, man, and like, it's challenging even for me, like, you know, because I'll still be like, oh man, I just blew myself up, or you know, it doesn't happen as much as me killing you guys, but every now and then one of you guys will kill me on accident, and it's like, dang, but then it's like it doesn't actually matter though, because you don't lose anything. Like
Samples,
they did that
maybe,
so well. Like
gear,
there's just
like enough to matter, enough to make you care just a little bit, but not like, you know, I'm quitting
but you can
now.
pick it right back up.
Yeah, like you know, within 5 minutes you're going to be whole again, and you know.
Yeah, dude, in Warzone you're done.
Yeah.
Well, you can get your, you know, you can get resurgence, but I guess resurgence is different. But like in your typical battle royale Warzone, you know, that's it. You get the one opportunity in the dungeon, or what is it called? The
Gulag.
Like the Gulag. Yeah, I didn't even remember the Gulag, and that's it. You know, and that's fine. That's their, you know. But dude, Helldivers 2 just did it so different, and they hit the nail on the head. So many different nails. They hit so many different nails on the head, like that. It has resulted in this game that's just so fun. Deep down, you know, it's not momentarily fun.
Yeah.
It's remaining fun. It's nostalgic. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious. It's so far keeping its steam.
You know, and I feel like they've kind of, you ask if it was going to change gaming, and I think so. I mean, who isn't going to like take note of what they can bring into their game from this? And one of the things I kind of predict, it's almost like, you know, I know a lot of people make the comment, oh, this just came out of nowhere or whatever, but if you look back, like they announced this game in 2020, plus they had Helldivers 1, you know, I think maybe came out in 2015, and they had balanced a lot of these stratagems and stuff through that time period, and it was a real-time strategy, almost more like Age of Empires type situation where you were looking down from the top. And so imagine if I think that I tried a game called Foxhole that's kind of like that they have these long drawn out battles that are live action, you know, kind of things. And I could see a game like Foxhole, like the, you know, Foxhole 2 being, you know, making that jump from real-time strategy above, you know, type game to this, because there's a lot of like game balancing, I think, like that they cut their teeth on. Like they didn't exactly come, out of nowhere. Like they'd been working on this
it wasn't
for
like,
a
oh
hot
yeah,
minute and announced it in 2020, I think, and 2021 there was a little, it slowly leaked out, and we were totally unaware. Like, even though we're, do a gaming podcast, like I hadn't heard crap about it, and certainly never expected this. This is the best a Sony game has ever done on PC. Like that's huge. Like, you think of all the content.
Yeah, I bet Sony's also, of course, very pleased, because Sony, like they're having interesting times. They just closed down the office in London.
That's awesome.
I think is what happened.
Yeah,
Let me make sure I'm not
about
talking
what was
out of
going
hand
on
here.
there, but I'm pretty
sure
the times they
Sony
are changing.
London. Sony London closes. Let me make sure I don't want to talk out of hand. PlayStation laying off, closing London studio. Okay, PlayStation. What? I know that's... No, it's Sony, yeah. Sony PlayStation, of course. But I know there's like Sony Interactive and then there's PlayStation, but it's all under the same umbrella. Yeah, anyways, they had to lay off 900 folks and they're closing their London studio, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're happy about Helldivers 2.
Well, part of that too, we've just seen. I feel like we're finally getting the full death of like the actual hard copy video game and the side of video game where you put a disc in there and do that. So people had to be let go. I mean, I think there were people that was part of their job. That they laid off a bunch of folks at Xbox, kind of like that. And
is that what that's about?
It could be. It's just what I'm saying. It could be more circumstantial than like times are bad or something. Like it's just times are changing, and
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, you got to hire different folks for the new needs.
For different strokes.
Yeah, but. Man, I've had some moments with this game though. I just wow, I think it has potential to be my favorite video game of all time, and
wow,
yeah, that's saying a lot. That's saying a whole lot.
Salud.
Yeah, because yeah,
dang,
Ark's still up there though.
Yeah, and we still have unfinished business on the old Ark. We still got to do some boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I just can't help but think about those more like deep aspects, like those philosophical aspects, the gaming philosophy, if you will, of how it really like itches or scratches an itch rather that we haven't felt in a long time. It's hitting something, and yeah, and I definitely felt that too, like, because there are times when I'll play video games lately that we've been playing a lot, and I'll just be like, like, it's not that it isn't fun at all, it's just there's like something missing from it, Mm-hmm. It's like we're only doing it to unlock the next attachment or and I know we are doing that. It's not that we're not doing that in Helldivers too, but there's really like the fun factor outweighs that so much more, to the extent that, when you turn off the console or whatever and you walk away, you're not thinking about, oh, I gotta level up, or I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta buy I gotta unlock this, I gotta unlock that. It's rather just, God, that was so much fun.
Yeah. It's important to remember that, because I feel like, throughout the last few weeks, like there's been moments, this game brought things out in me that I haven't seen in a minute, like since like I was, like at work or whatever. Like I've been kind of short with people, like especially like I've ended up in these situations where like, I'm like the highest ranked player in the group, like with some randos or whatever by, a good 10, 15 levels or whatever. And
Chuck.
You're doing that personnel evacuation mission and they don't know the secret to it. And like, at that time I had my shit set up on push to talk, and there was one day I came in and I was just like, all right, can you hear me? And they were like, yes, sir. Like, I
shit.
Like, in a fucking way, like, I was like, do not go to you have to stay away and draw the aggro away from it, and
yeah.
like there's one guy that he didn't have comms, and he marched right up there with me and ruined it, and I was on there, like, I could tell it was like a guy in England, or, just by they're calling everybody mate and all that, like I know where they're at, like it sounds like, guys in their 20s in Europe or whatever, and I'm just like, you have to take charge or it's not gonna work, and I'm pretty introverted. That's not me normally, but like I want this game
if
so
I have
bad.
to do this for democracy, I will do it. We will liberate this bitch. Hey, comms up, let's go, boys.
Yeah.
Pull it together.
Well, and I'm having to push to talk, so that kind of like changes how you talk a little bit. Like you're very direct. You're not. It's not just an open conversation. Like, hey, you guys listen up. You know how this works or whatever. I was just like, stay here. Like,
do not follow me. Hide in bush.
Well, and then like 20 minutes into that, I know it's that all hope is lost, and I get back on there, and I'm like, everybody start looking for samples, like, and let's get out of here with them, and they stay, and they're just orbital coming in, and I'm just like, yeah, good luck with that, pal. Like, there's like 90 robots standing around the little doors where the personnel are coming out, and I'm just like, yeah. Okay, yeah, keep going. You'll get it. You're gonna get 40 people in half the time. Like, it's just not gonna work.
What are those bigger ones called that have the shield and the flamethrower, or the shield and the machine gun, and they
the
just
Raider, the black sort of ones that have like say it's like a shield and a machine gun, but they're not the biggest enemy. Like there's
What's
the Hulk
big
Bruiser.
One? The Bruisers.
Yeah, there's a few versions of them, but yeah,
I don't remember the name of them.
The biggest one is the Hulk Bruiser. Like he'll have a flamethrower or something a lot of times, and like a blade.
Dude, and then they'll throw those tanks out.
Oh, man,
gosh darn, it gets. Man, we were having a hard time last night.
One of the cool things I love that they've done too, that any big enemy like that though has like that tiny weak spot, almost like in Star Wars when you come down the trench and send those freaking charges down the ducts to the air intake system on that big engine or whatever. That feeling of like running in there with that grenade and just I've seen tons of video of people like way up on top of things and they'll get a grenade out. They'll do it in slow motion and just jump up there, boom, and blow themselves up on top of like there's just
whatever
it's
it
just
takes.
made for hero moments, like
I love it. All right, I'm totally getting sidetracked here, but something I love, man, is when you're in like the game can tell when you're in one of those like high action moments, and your character will just be like, "For democracy!" Like when you get on a turret,
get some. They do that big laugh. The stalwart brings it out every time for me. Like it has a ton of ammo, and you'll be just like when you get to that last part of the clip, the guy just starts laughing. Like they've done so many things right, and I feel like too. Anytime you sort of like run very like if you stay at maximum sprint for very long in this game, and you're anywhere near enemies, they like almost like spawn an enemy behind you, because every time something is chasing me, and it feels like something's chasing me, even when it's not. Like I'm just like,
because you can hear like you know what it sounds like when you're on the automaton planets and you're like running away like that, or you're trying to get to the next objective, and you can hear them they're like, dude, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like when the away team goes onto the Borg ship for the first time to look for Captain Picard, and they can hear the Borg voices. Dude, that's what it sounds like,
just
dude.
Creepy
it's so,
as shit.
Oh, dude, it's creepy. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, there's even a Borg element to it, like how the Borgs kind of just, no matter what's going on, like they do their job, like the way team will be in there, and like some of the Borgs aren't even fighting them; they're just kind of doing their job.
They're not even like responding to their existence.
Yeah, like that sort of. There's something about those automatons that make me kind of feel that way. Like they just kind of they're always coming.
Chuck is shaking in his seat. Like,
I've had some moments, man. I tried to take a nap the other day, and I was just like, I'd been playing this game for a few hours, and I was just laying there in the pillow, just like having battles.
Did you like wake up real quick and like reach out for your defender, and it wasn't there?
I had to just literally say to myself, like, you're not playing that game right now. Like when I was slow, that like kind of half awake, when those. What is that, like theta waves or brain waves start kicking in, and you're kind of there and you're not, like I was in that mode.
Like, you're nodding out.
Yeah, I was just like picturing myself putting in stratagems and shit, like, and I'm like, this is not gonna be restful. Like, I need to slow my brain down. Like, Jesus,
like pass the blunt, Jesus.
Yeah, like I say, this game has brought back, like, just not that like firefighting was ever like that crazy, but like, yeah, just those kind of things, like I don't know quite how to explain it. Like, there's some, higher functioning version of myself that only comes out when I want, I have to believe in it.
Like there's an objective, like yeah. It's important enough to you.
Yeah.
And that is the objective of spreading liberty throughout the galaxy.
And it went a few different ways for me. Like at times, like I got frustrated with other players a lot, and then frustrated with myself a lot, and just all sorts of learning experiences that I think like have something to do with like those people that are at that meta and they're kind of giving other folks a hard time and kicking them or whatever. Like, they got there by using the wrong shit before, like, and you just know, like you've tried all that shit, and like, it might say it does this or that, but it's like I've thrown it on enough bug holes now, and I know it's not gonna be
effective.
Like,
it's not gonna
like
it's not gonna help
things.
Us accomplish the larger mission at hand.
Yeah.
Man, that's something else.
But the game put out a tweet, I think, or something to the effect of they're gonna like balance things, like, so that there isn't a meta. Like they want to keep that variety or whatever. So
I'm glad they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're not gonna introduce PvP, which has been confirmed. There's not gonna be PvP, and I think that's a good call, because it would really throw a monkey wrench into the balance of. And I'm not speaking to mechanics balancing. I'm speaking to the spirit of the essence of the game. It would throw a real monkey wrench into that balance if they introduce PvP. And what is a very minor beginnings of a quote unquote toxic community, that would become a much larger community, I think, if they introduced PvP. So, no queremos eso. No gracias. No gracias.
Have you heard of Gantz the Demon? There's been some few little toxic things pop up. Like there was this guy Gantz the Demon who kept going into games apparently and like kind of cooperating for a long time, but then at the end like killing everyone. And there was a TikTok video made, and man, it blew up, and like so people started like it was like Gantz the Demon is a traitor. If he comes in your game, like let's light him up. And he was getting lit up, and like he had to come out and like finally he ended up on this podcast where he's like, actually, like the people I was with were my, people he knew, it wasn't that he was just trolling, it was kind of like, like there's tons of video of people meleeing each other off of cliffs and shit, just to be funny or whatever. He was, maybe doing something to that effect or whatever. And it went full cancel culture. Like I think they started trying to find out where he worked and shit. And
the liberal intelligentsia got to him.
You're done. And like,
you're out there, demon.
So
hell dive no mas.
And I saw for a little while there, it took folks a while to figure out that you shared everything. So people were killing each other for the samples and stuff like that. And that was, a little toxic. And yeah.
Dude, another area where Arrowhead nailed it. Let it all be for everyone. Yeah. Dude, I think, not to like totally switch speeds here, but going back to the deep cuts, but like, I think there's like something to that. Like, is there or is there not a message like being insinuated with this game? Like, You know, how maybe, I don't know, not to get political, but like, or socio-political, but how we could all just like be one large team and stop bullshit and, fucking around with all this, division and stuff, super Earth, bro. Or is there like actually no message at all and it's just totally like, fun and comical? Like, because there something to that, like with the Starship Troopers movie. There's like a message there, like a an indirect message, but it was like just comical at the same time.
I think I've been seeing a lot of videos about that lately, and a lot of people point out that most people, or not most people, but a good portion of people miss the point. Like, kind of the point is that the humans are the bad guys in this scenario, and I think even in the current scenario of this game, like, it may turn out, like, I've even seen theories that like the humans in this game are like a version of the automatons essentially, and I've also seen that like maybe later we might use the automatons and the humans will be on the same side. All kinds of little things. Dude, that this could.
It's a hot take right there. Yeah, there's another.
Yeah.
Or, I don't like saying hot take. I like deep take or deep cut. Yeah, that's another angle. Like, who are the bad guys in this thing?
Well, and two, I think it just, I think it's like a message to force
humanity,
people.
Man. Come on.
Yeah, like to be a little introspective, not to just be so involved in your own bullshit that you believe that your way is the only way, and sort of that they're high, like it's more about like who's right versus what's right and doing right. A lot of times it seems like, and I like. Yeah, that feels like part of the message, especially when they say managed democracy and those kind of things. Like it's kind of like
to distribute managed democracy across the galaxy.
Yeah, they're not saying just democracy. That it's kind of like
It's like, hey, what do you think? Just a video game.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just a video game.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's funny. So. It sounds like there's a lot of fun, cool stuff coming up. There's been some leakage, and then there's been some confirmed stuff as well. I think you and Pepe Tortilla were, cognizant of that far before I was. I only recently, as of like a little bit before we spoke yesterday, I had kind of caught up with what the latest was. But Chuck, please, what are you seeing on the radar?
Apparently there was a developer playing that some footage of I want to say somebody ended up in a match with a guy who was obviously a developer testing some stuff, and the footage I've seen is of a mech, like where the mech's there and the guy kind of goes and gets in the back of it and he's kind of walking around with it a little bit, and there's been some discussion about what may or may not happen there. And then the other is a vehicle. There's some footage of a guy kind of like driving a vehicle just briefly.
A vehicle? I didn't hear about that. That sounds dope, dude. The mech, dude, for me, the mech is with that. That's all. Like, if you put that in the game, you got me for another, I don't know, so long, a while. I love mech type stuff, man. Like, remember Titanfall 2? I really enjoyed. Oh yeah, you didn't get into that with Pepe and I, but dude, you get to play. Didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
definitely didn't play with
you get these badass mechs in that game, and and then there's the good old Mech Warrior games from back in the day. Mm-hmm. I think there's a new one came out recently. I think it was Mech Warrior 5.
We had the Mech and Arc.
There's the Mech and Arc. Yep. So we've always enjoyed mech stuff. Did they say anything about how it's going to work? My theory is that it's going to be a stratagem that you'll be able to use until it blows up or until it runs out of gas.
I tell you one hot take that kind of came out of that. People questioned, like, is it going to take away from that co-op feeling? Like once I bring in my mech and you don't have one, like obviously you're not going to be able to move as fast as me. And am I just going to basically go off on my own? And some people, like this one guy he said, I hope that I can ride on the shoulder of the mech,
Oh, yeah, that would be sick.
It
dude.
was sick, like what he kind of described. Like I was like, that would be.
Yeah, or get like so that you can take at least two, and then the next one in your arm, so that all four can be on or in the mech in some form or fashion. That would be sick.
Yeah.
No, I mean there'd be use cases for a singular mech rider. Like for example, when you have to evacuate the scientists, you got 3 dudes pulling the aggro, keeping everyone busy, and then the 4th dude throws out the mech, jumps inside, runs in, starts releasing people, and if anything comes up, he can mech them out, He can just take care of business while all the scientists evacuate into the bunker.
Yeah.
Right? That'd be a use case. Or if you have multiple objectives and you're all 4 squad members, or all 4 Helldivers rather, are skilled enough because they're out there. We're getting there. You guys might be there. I'm not there yet, but we're getting there. But they're out there. People will solo a Helldive mission, and then there'll be squads of 2, 3, 4, where all of them will solo. They'll just fan out and start hitting objectives. That would be a use case.
Mm-hmm.
You get your mech, get it out, run, hit the objectives. The other guy pulls out their mech, hits the objectives, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something that only lasts for as long as there's gasoline in it or energy, whatever powers it. They're not going to let you have a mech the entire mission. I don't think.
Running a mech.
Whatever they're doing with this mech, it's going to be balanced. It's going to be, at least mostly, right? It's going to make sense.
Yeah.
They're going to, like you said, this game didn't just come out like in the last 6 months. It's been in the works, in the oven for some time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have faith they'll balance it, and I look forward to it. I look forward to just unlocking it. Like, I'm enjoying collecting samples to get the ship modules and just make my ship even cooler. So I look forward, because I've almost got all the stratagems now. Like, requisition slips top out at $50,000. Like,
listeners, in case you haven't spotted this, Chuck is decked out in Helldivers 2. Like,
his ship
is on the top of the chart. Within our little world of gaming, in our little community of new wave gaming, he is
Yeah, we've put some time in this week on it for sure, and I do feel like it's.
I think you can only get to level 50, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared is I'll get bored, especially when I don't need samples anymore and rec slips and things. But I think they're going to keep the content coming, and you can always kind of perfect your craft to some degree, because I definitely feel like I'm learning a ton of things, that might not be apparent right in the very beginning.
No, and it's still evolving, man. There's still so much. It'll be interesting to see where Helldivers 2 is at in a year, or rather after a year of its release. Mm-hmm. It'll be because then we'll really be able to maybe have another episode and be like, all right, where do things stand 1 year after? Now that it's been able to simmer, really get dissected by the gaming community and all, or maybe we'll at that point be able to see just how evolving and dynamic the game is, in a sense that this, as soon as we figure something out and create a meta around it, it's already evolved into something different. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of the vision they have in this studio, is just to keep this thing. It's a live service game. It's just going to keep changing on us. I think Joel, what I heard was that all of us Helldivers joined forces so efficiently and so quickly and with so much, so efficiently that they had to make adjustments that they did not predict they would need to make.
Yeah,
Joel had to make some moves. Oh fuck, I got to introduce the automatons now because the Terminate thing, like they already liberated all the freaking planets, and we didn't think that was going to happen until mid 2024 or whatever. I'm just speculating.
You're
Those aren't
right.
the numbers or anything.
I heard
but,
like you
Joel
had to
had
get
to
up in
come
the
in
middle of
and
the night and put some more automatons, back up the automatons at some point because it was going too well.
And that's such, and I don't want to backtrack again, dude, but there's something to that makes this game so unique on like a very like discreet, not so obvious way. Like the whole Dungeons and Dragons, like dungeon master thing,
dude.
Like how there's someone there in it, like while we're sleeping at night, like there's someone potentially making moves that's going to have an impact on, on the liberty of the galaxy.
Dude, I've seen videos of children crying when we lost Malevelon Creek. Like there was a this little kid was just destroyed. He was like, his dad had obviously been playing with him, and he was like, it was so fun. And his dad's like, we'll get to play in there again. Trying to console him, but
hey, we lost the battle, son, but we ain't gonna lose the war.
I felt like I was like, man, I've been farming those dang samples. Like I should have been there for this kid.
Defending more. Firing more bullets instead of picking up those.
Been back on the automaton side,
it's like, God, I got to stop playing these trivial missions and get involved.
So they've struck something there that's just, I haven't really
9 levels of difficulty.
That's funny. It's funny too, though. Like our perspective, when we first entered each level, like it kind of hit the gas pedal there at the end, I feel like, and we skipped extreme and went straight to suicide, and then pretty much didn't spend much time at impossible, straight to
it happened with hard, dude. Like all of a sudden, like I remember signing in, and you and Pepe Tortilla were like, hey, we're doing hard missions now, we're getting those rare samples. It's like, all right, oh gosh, because we were, normal was like
enough,
or medium, I'd rather was like, it was we weren't like nonchalant running through the map, like we were paying attention. It was challenging. And then we went up to, challenging or hard or whatever. And then, cause you guys were doing that. And then I remember like the next day it was like, we pretty much went from suicide to hell dive.
Yeah.
Skipped everything in between. and here's the thing. Here's the thing is that we did really well on that first hell dive.
Yeah.
And that kind of like falsely inspired us to like, oh yeah, we got this. We got this. But there forward,
Yeah.
Oh, Chuck, we're dead, but you'll make it. You'll make it. And you're the last one, and you like barely jump into the thing with everyone converging on
Samples.
you, and the Pepe Tortilla failed to extract. Ovox failed to extract. And ChukTomahawk.
It's like, I'm getting out.
Lots of bruises and scrapes, to say the least.
Bleeding out his hemorrhaging chest wound, but he's in there. I guess though, like if I really think about that, like it's more about like the enemies don't actually get stronger; they just get more of them, and like more chances of there being even harder versions of the enemies. I guess technically that is like they get a little stronger, but instead
they don't. You're right.
Like each
Harder
individual
variations.
type doesn't get stronger, but they send the harder enemy essentially, like
iterations.
More, yeah. So
like if they were sending out the, I don't know, like the mini hunter or the mini, those little ones with the Terminids that have those like weird tentacles that shoot out.
Yeah,
they might be called stalkers. Stalkers. Yeah. There's a larger variant that goes invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And man, so that's what you're talking about. Like if you're there longer, like they'll start sending out the bigger
and I will say, guns. That's the thing. Like to me, like the skill gap between like say the suicide when you first come into suicide and Helldiver or almost any of them is just knowing when to fight and when to run. Like it doesn't really change a lot. It's just kind of like picking and choosing your battles and timing out your stratagems. But the mistake I see people make in those difficulties is they get in there and they try to fight everything, and they just keep coming. Like, you got to run, you got to do what you're there to do, and whenever the moment comes to get it, the thing done, get it done and get the hell out of there. Like, what are you waiting to see this bomb blow up? Like, like, go and it just. And for a while, I didn't know how to ping the map, and the only way I could get people to do that was just run myself, and eventually they'd come, and so it's interesting how that. I think that's one of the things that accelerated that endpoint. Once you realize that there was no dishonor in running, and like you just needed to get those things done and sort of prioritize the main objectives, especially on those harder levels. Like, you aren't, because you can fuck around on a side objective and spend every stratagem you own and lives, like, and yeah. So if just when to pull your cards back and say, like, no, can't do it right now.
That's why it contributes to the fun factor, man, because it's not about KD in this game. Like, it's not about killing every bug, It's about accomplishing the objectives, collecting, using the stratagems, blowing shit up, having fun, getting those the loot, which would consist of super credits, samples, war bonds, or those medals, and once you realize, like, hey, it's not about it's not about just wiping out every single bug and increasing my KD. It's about having fun and playing co-op with your friends. And once you realize that, it just makes the game so much funner.
Yeah.
So much more fun. I don't think funner is a word. I'm not sure about, but that one. But what was I going to say? And they nailed that. They nailed that. Another thing that they nailed, because you know what? You don't get any XP for killing bugs.
Nope.
Or Terminators. You don't get a single thing.
How many do you think you've killed so far? I know how many I've killed. It's nuts.
I don't know. I know there's a stat there. I never look at it, though, because
last I looked, like a couple days ago, I'd killed like 15,000 at this point.
Dang, Chuck.
That's a lot.
All right, I'm gonna check you now, and if you're bullshitting us, I'm gonna call you out on the next episode.
No, okay, go for it. Yeah.
It's like, hey, Chuck, I checked that out. It was only like. It might be more though. It might be more. You might be undercutting yourself right now. It might be.
Yeah. I need to look, I guess. There are some stats at the end of the missions. I know if you wanted your kill count to go up, use that laser rover, like that guard dog laser that follows you around. Like, it gets tons of kills.
Yeah, just passively. You're not even like, you're just like running. La, la, la,
yeah.
La. Oh, there's the fabricator. Bzzz.
If I was going to make an argument against the people that are stuck on that meta of, like, if you're not using the shield generator, we're going to kick you or whatever, I would say the laser is about as. There's times I wish I had it versus the shield, because it kills the things that are chasing you, whereas the shield just keeps the things from chasing you from killing you. It doesn't get rid of them, and the laser's your bud, man. I like it, but
nice. It's killed me a bunch of times.
Yeah. It's killed me and my friends a few times, but because it's a strong.
But everything
laser.
kills us so much. Yeah, it's fucking strong ass laser, fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a laser. It is a laser.
It'll burn you.
It's not one of those little laser pointers we used to get at the fair.
No, it's gonna
a little red dot pointer. I wonder if I can shoot it to the airplane. It comes with stratagem comes. Hey, did you activate a stratagem on that passenger plane up there, young man? No. Right on, dude. Well, hey, we're pretty much at the hour mark. Maybe we should go spread managed democracy.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to play it today. I think, as far as closing thoughts, I feel like just could be the greatest game ever. It is definitely going to, change what we see in the future a little bit. I think there's a little bit of a roadmap laid forth here, and I'm excited to see where it goes and genuinely just have some fun.
Oh, dude, we didn't even talk about all the new stratagems and guns they're going to be releasing. Let me mention one stratagem that I heard they're releasing. There's a stratagem apparently where you can like have like a meteor strike. Or like that's what I heard. I heard they're doing a stratagem where you get an energy. Is it an energy grenade launcher? Like a grenade launcher with but it says energy balls. Like a meteor strike, and then Helldiver NPCs are the new stratagems. So you get like 2 or 3 NPCs Helldivers that'll come down and back you up.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
So I heard those are coming out, and then I heard a bunch of new weapons. The weapons, you can find those online. These are just things that are going to be coming out. And then the mech, of course, which is my favorite announcement. We've heard that other enemies are going to come out on the battlefront. We've heard things like that, but that's really it. The mech is like, man. So, go ahead, Chuck. Sorry.
I want to throw out like just a Chuck pro tip that I know of at this point. I'm sure maybe this won't mean too much to me later, but right now, like something I've been doing, especially when you have that shield backpack. I don't know if you've noticed those like puff ball things on the ground. Sometimes you run into and they blow up that puffy stuff and it slows you down. When you have that shield on, it doesn't slow you down at all. And so when things are chasing me, like I hit that stuff on purpose and like they get stuck in it. And you can also use that same stuff. Like if you have that shield on and you turn around and shoot the ground, like when you're in that stuff, it will launch you a country mile. Like, and I've started using it. Like I literally just, I'm like running and I'll hit it and then I'll turn and shoot the ground and you can like also kind of combo that with the stem. So,
you just, or if you don't have the backpack, just use a stem.
Yeah, you can do it with a stem where you stem yourself right before you do it. So there's this little moment of invincibility and health regen that you get from that stem. There's even a set of armor that has a medic property that will raise that amount, the time that little invincibility time. And dude, that's
the one that I use.
I live in that time. I know when to push it, that like, okay, here's when they'll kill me. So I get that little moment of invincibility. But yeah, I love how a lot of things weren't explained. Like you just got to kind of figure them out on their own. But once you kind of see what it does, you're like, they knew this was going to be done. Like, this is a little something in here.
It's too much good stuff with this one. And we'll see what is to come with Helldivers 2. Well, Chuck, thanks, man. Yeah. Thanks. Saturday afternoon for you already. It's still the morning here. Let's wrap this one up. Listeners, thanks again for joining us. Episode 44. If you're not following us already on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, please follow us. Click on that follow so that you get updated as soon as we drop new episodes, which we try to keep it 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks we drop an episode. Sometimes weekly. Sometimes we get excited. And at some point we're going to probably, maybe go to weekly. It just depends what life throws us. Please follow us. That'd be super helpful for us. Share the podcast with your fellow gamers out there. And a rating and review would be also super helpful because that pushes the algorithms to get us out to more ears, which is really the biggest challenge for us as an independent podcast. The best gaming podcast in the history of podcasts, if you ask myself. And get out there, hell dive with your friends, and spread managed democracy.
Save Super Earth. Super Earth.
All right. Love you, Chuck.
Love you too, man. Y'all have a good one.